It's been over 6 months since the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and the 11 Pro Max were released. In that 6 months, things have changed. People have gotten much smarter. And as a species, I feel like we have advanced more in these last 6 months than we have in the last 6 years. With these things in mind, I think it's time that we discussed my experience with the iPhone 11 Pro Max 6 months later. What's up, everybody? My name is Jonathan Casey. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today we're gonna discuss my 6-month experience with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and to make it easier for you, if there's something in specific that you're looking for or an area that you want to see me talk about, feel free to check the time code down in the description. Before we go any further, leave me a comment down below, and in a nutshell, let me know how your experience has been with your iPhone 11, 11 Pro, or 11 Pro Max. That way we can compare our experiences and see if we had a similar time. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive straight into the beginning of this video with the overall design. When I first picked up my iPhone 11 Pro Max, I was pretty stoked about the dark green color and the matte glass on the back. 6 months later, I still love the matte glass, but the dark green color has kinda lost my interest, and I feel like I should have went with the white model or the black model. It's not that it's bad looking by any means, it's just not a neutral color. For instance, I love the new blue cases that Apple just released, but unfortunately they look kinda awful with the dark green camera area poking through the backside. Durability wise, it's held up pretty good. I do have a few micro scratches on my display, but nothing too bad. Nothing outside of the normal wear and tear that you would get on any phone. Typically I use a screen protector on my phone, but I ended up shattering the one that I was using and I never replaced it. I definitely don't recommend doing that though, so if you break your screen protector, just buy a new one. iPhone displays are notorious for scratching super easy. The backside has held up really good. Outside of a few good scuffs I managed to do the first week of owning my phone, the stainless steel frame also has maintained its color and doesn't really show any scratches, scuffs, or overall wear, which is really impressive. One thing about the iPhone 11 Pro Max is that it's pretty heavy. I mean, even heavier than the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and that's a big boy. Plus, it's a pretty big phone, and with hardly any one-handed software features inside of iOS, it can be cumbersome to use. That said, I'm okay with the weight and size since the weight distribution is really nice, and after using it for 6 months and adapting to it, it's been pretty easy. Watching movies and playing games has been great. In fact, the media consumption experience overall has been fantastic. Although there is room for improvement, I think the next iPhone definitely needs promotion. After using several Android phones these past couple of years that have 90 and 120 Hz displays, it's hard to go back to a 60 Hz display. Not to mention the iPad Pro has promotion, and it's freaking awesome. The speakers on the iPhone 11 Pro Max are really good. They are a little heavier with the bass, but overall, I think they provide a well-balanced sound. In fact, I found myself listening to music through the speakers on my phone several times when I'm editing a video or cleaning my offices, instead of using headphones or a Bluetooth speaker. Let's talk about performance for a second, and no, I'm not gonna get into the benchmarks and all of that jazz. My iPhone 11 Pro Max performs as it should on most days. I do a lot of photo editing on my phone. In fact, I've edited several thumbnails for my videos just like this video on my phone. I have also edited quite a bit of 4K 60 frames per second footage for Instagram stories. The A13 has been able to handle anything and everything that I throw at it. So in that regard, I have to say I have no complaints. However, I do have issues when it comes to my phone locking up and overheating. I've tried to replicate these instances, but unfortunately, they just are so sporadic, it's impossible. The first time it happened, I was trying to use the camera app, and then the phone just suddenly froze. I couldn't pull up the power menu or force close the app, and to make things worse, the back of the phone started to get really hot. I was able to do a hard reset, which did fix the problem for the time being, This exact same thing ended up happening to me multiple times just using different apps, some third-party and some stock. Luckily, after the most recent 13.4.1 update, it hasn't happened again, but if it does, I'm definitely going to update you on Twitter. I guess this is a good transition into software, which will be pretty short and sweet. iOS is getting better, I feel, but I can't help but feel bored and tired of the same old interface. Fighting the same old limitations like not being able to sign my own default apps. I mean, if I want to use Google Apps as my primary navigation app, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. I mean, we're in 2020. Widgets have never been my cup of tea, but being able to attach them to your homepage and move your icons around freely could add some extra flair to the interface. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm weird, but in my opinion, iOS really needs a makeover cosmetically and functionally. With that said, I can appreciate the consistent experience or the amount of time Apple supports their devices with routine updates. And I also have to give Apple praise for listening to the consumers and giving us features like the Files app, dark mode, and the swipe keyboard. But if I'm being real, it's still not enough. I remember switching to the iPhone XR when it first came out. The screen, of course, wasn't the best, but man, the battery life was legendary. Of course, over time, days became shorter and screen on time became less and less. Thanks to many of the iOS updates that were pushed out, my XR went from being legendary to good. Well, that exact same story applies to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. In the beginning, I was getting incredible battery life. Then I went through a period where Johnny 5 couldn't have saved my phone from dying.
Reassemble.
Recently, I decided to go in and change a lot of my notifications for various apps. This, and I also did a factory reset, which helped. While it's not the same results I was getting in the beginning, it's far better than what I was getting previously. Charging wise, being able to fast charge using my MacBook or iPad charger is nice for quick refills. I definitely don't recommend doing this routinely since I believe that's what's caused my battery health to depreciate so quickly, going from 100 to 95% remaining in terms of capacity. Typically, I just use wireless charging at night. I just put it on a wireless charger before bed, and that's that. Even though it's slow, it does the job, and I feel like it's the safest way. The camera on the iPhone 11 Pro Max is tried and true. The addition of Deep Fusion, which came after the release of the iPhone 11 series, is nice. It feels the missing element between night mode and HDR. I just wish that there was a way for it to work on all of the cameras, including the front facing. I also wish there was a way to force it to work instead of relying on it to automatically kick in. Nonetheless, when it works really good. This can be said all around, I feel, for all of the rear cameras. The wide angle is one of my favorites on any smartphone, falling right behind the Note 10 Plus and the Galaxy S20 Ultra. Night mode also has been great, and the subtle improvements Apple has made with each update after the release have really helped optimize it for better results. But again, I wish it was available on every camera, including the front. Speaking of the front camera, it's very capable in most situations. Not to mention, portrait mode on both the rear and front cameras have received updates since the iPhone 11 Pro Max was released. It's not a huge difference from launch, but the consistency, reliability, and the cutout accuracy has definitely been improved. Video-wise, the iPhone is still the GOAT. Supporting 4K 60 frames per second on every single camera, offering HDR video even when shooting 4K 60, and it has great looking 4K 24p footage. The iPhone 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max provide the best video recording experience on any smartphone. There's also the 120 and 240 frames per second slow motion modes that look excellent. To go even one step further with photography and videography, the iPhone 11 Pro Max has a really good stock editing solution. For photo editing, you get quite a bit of control, including various lighting controls or exposure controls and color adjustments. Personally, I prefer the photo editor on my S20 Ultra, but the iPhone is a close second. For video editing, you have a lot of the same controls for color and exposure adjustments, which is really nice to see. Unfortunately, there isn't a timeline style editor like you get on Samsung devices, but maybe in the future, this is something that Apple can, bring over. But with that said, iMovie is usually pre-installed on your phone, and that does have a timeline-based editor. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has without a doubt been the best iPhone experience I have had to date. My only regret is going with the larger size, but I say that every single year, and I never change because I'm an idiot. I lost myself. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has given me its fair share of issues and glitches, but overall the experience has been exactly what you would expect from Apple. A mostly reliable and consistent experience across the board, even if that experience is getting a little stale. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving it a like, subscribe for more videos just like this, click the bell icon for good measure so you can be alerted when that content drops, and I will see you wonderful people in the next video.